Hello there, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 8 books, host of 2 PBS specials, here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. Specifically, how to use my life from the top of the mind system to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today I want to talk about the ability to trust one's own judgment, especially when we know what to do, but are reluctant to trust that and do what we know is right. There's a quote that I'm sending out to those 6,000 folks on my quote list, by the way. For those of you who would like to receive one of my favorite quotes each week in your email, all you got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the subscribe button. It's free. Put your name, email address, and each week I'll send you one of these quotes and about 2 or 3 paragraphs about how to apply the quote to life. So this quote is one of mine. It says, "Action without knowledge can be destructive, but knowledge without action can be demoralizing." So let's unpack that and see what it really means. Obviously, action without knowledge is not a good idea. It can lead to mistakes, even just being destructive at times. When we do something and we really don't know what we're doing, the potential is sometimes we will do it in a way that isn't successful. That one's pretty self-explanatory. The next part of the quote, however, is I think what we want to focus on. Knowledge without action can be demoralizing. In other words, when we know what the right thing is to do, when we know what we would really recommend to someone we love, and yet we don't do it, we feel demoralized. We start really questioning, can I trust my own judgment? Because the behavior says, no, I can't. I know what to do, but I'm not doing it. And I think that's a challenge for folks who've grown up in an environment where they've been told over and over and over that somehow they can't trust their own judgment. What do you think? Where did you get that idea? Who do you think you are? They've been told to look to other people for validation of their own judgment, of their ability to make good decisions. And the problem is, as an adult, we've got to be making decisions all the time. And sometimes we'll know a lot of what to do. Sometimes we won't know a lot of what to do, but we'll still have a pretty good idea of what the right thing to do is. We've got to be willing to trust our own judgment around that, because when we know what to do, but we don't take action, that sends a message to our brain, by the way, that we can't trust our own judgment. For those of you who follow my life from the top of the mind philosophy, you know I really look at how we create our life based on how the brain processes information. The middle brain limbic system is always kind of scanning the environment, looking for data. It is the scanner, processor, router part of the brain. It scans the environment looking for data and then either routes it down to the brainstem, where our fight or flight responses are triggered, or up to the top of the mind, the neocortex, where we have access to our interpersonal skills, problem-solving skills, clarity, confidence, creativity, etc. So when we know what to do, when we have clarity from this upper 80% of the brain that this is the right thing to do, this is something I would recommend to someone I love, this is how I want to be defined, I've chosen this because it is both purposeful and effective. When we're clear about what to do and we don't do it, that really sends a message that we can't trust our own judgment. And that starts to undermine all of our ability to make decisions in life. Because if we can't trust our judgment over here, well then how can we trust it over here? And maybe this is a small thing, but what if that kind of bleeds into the big things? So what I think we want to do is to be willing to recognize that trusting our own judgment, knowing what to do and then doing it, is going to be a really important component of creating the life we want. Now, sometimes we may not do the right thing, If we think we know what to do and we do it, we may find out on the other side of that, whoops, that wasn't the right thing. But if we can trust our own judgment, we can say, okay, knowing what I know now, how would I do that differently in the future? See, we're not perfect. We're going to be making some mistakes. Even when we think we know what the right thing is to do and we do it, sometimes it won't work out. But if we can trust our own judgment, we can look at that not as some sort of failure on our part, not some sort of indication that there's something wrong with us, but just good information about an action that we took that missed. That's what I call a mistake. A mistake is an action that we took that missed. Did you know the original meaning of the word sin was an archery term? It meant to miss the mark. So given that we're not perfect, given that we're not going to ascend anytime this afternoon, we're going to make some mistakes. So sometimes we're going to think we know what to do and we're going to do it and it's going to turn out to be not the right thing. That's really not the problem. The problem is, what does that mean about us? If we take that as one more reason why we shouldn't or can't trust our own judgment, that becomes something that's going to get in the way of our clarity, confidence, and our creativity, and in the way of us creating the life we want. On the other hand, we say, okay, now I know something I didn't know before I made the mistake. Taking that knowledge, projecting that into the future, knowing what I know now, how would I do that differently in the future? What would I recommend to someone I love here? How do I want to be defined based on this particular decision? So I think what we want to do is recognize that this knowing and not taking action, knowing and not doing, almost validates the belief that nothing can be done, or that somehow we are incapable of making a difference in our life. That is demoralizing. That puts us in a position of fear or shame or regret or self-doubt, and we live in that lower 20% of the brain. So if you've decided that's not what you want, if this is not what you want for your family, for your organization, I encourage you to kind of give me a call. Contact me by phone, email, go to the website. So what I love to do is go around the world teaching people a system for coming from this clear, confident, creative part of who we are. I call it the top of the mind. It's the part of the brain where we have access, again, to our interpersonal skills, our problem-solving skills, clarity, confidence, creativity, etc. So is this something you would like? I encourage you to let me know. I'd love to help you with this. In the meantime, feel free to subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook. I post these on LinkedIn and Pinterest and Twitter and all the social media. iTunes, feel free to subscribe there. So I put one on the social media every week. Feel free to check that out if you like these concepts. Feel free to share them with your friends if you think they would be valuable as well. So in the meantime, here's to you bringing more clarity about what's important to you and your own ability to trust your own judgment. More clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.